Hello and welcome back to another tier shift or rises drops overview for Scarlet and Violet Underused. I'm your host Typhoon Carter, and this month, New Year 2024, a lot's happened. DLC 2 is in full swing for Underused. Underused gonna get their stuff from UU next month and have their mass changes. So the only real usage stats that were accounted for were mostly like auto drops, mostly from OU. So yeah, here you see Marty has kind of highlighted how that's gonna work. There's obviously some anomalies that people have taken notice, such as Terrakion dropping from OU to PU because everybody forgot it existed in OU. And that got banned from PU and NU at the time I'm recording this. But I'll mostly highlight the stuff that, first of all, let's just start with what rose from underuse up to overuse per se. First one, Clodsire. That's an unaware wall that is now taken away from UU again. Meowscarada got triple axle. It's doing pretty well in OU. Weave Out, same deal because of the DLC 2 moveset expansion. So those two rose up. And then our weather setters, Pelipper and Torkoal, rose up. Torkoal actually rose all the way from RU up to OU. The Sun had like a very niche, had some niche uses in Underuse during the duration of DLC 1. It wasn't popular, but it had its place. Rain, very popular in Underuse at the time, but now that's gone. Our setter is now Politoed, which isn't really cutting it in UU, but it's doing work in RU. I'll say that much. I don't know if it'll get banned from RU. I've been playing RU more than UU during the duration of DLC 2. But onto the actual important stuff. Right, so yeah, as you can tell, we got a lot to go for here. So I'm gonna try to be rapid fire quick, and then I'll note what's gotten banned and stuff afterwards. Gorgonackle, Lomomola, Amoonguss, these are all UU these are all mons that have been in UU before. Gorgonackle got previously banned from UU very early on during UU Snake Draft, but because it was just hindering, I guess, the meta development, I guess, if you want to call it that. So that got unbanned. Like all the UBLs got unbanned, which I think is ridiculous, but that's not really the point here. But you know, fresh slate, so it is what it is. Although one of them already got banned, and it was kind of like everybody kind of saw it coming, to be honest. But anyways, yeah. So Momola, Moongus, yeah. So stuff that we are all familiar with to some extent. Momola has like flip turnstile, you know, all that good stuff. Amoonguss, Spore. Although it doesn't really have a Meowscarada wall anymore, it does make Breloom's viability hampered down a lot. Araquanid, a web setter, a pretty solid one. Yeah, webs is kind of like all the craze going on right now. And UU, maybe it's new toy syndrome, what do I know? Blastoise. Spinner, that's gonna drop down even further to RU. Like, nobody's really using it. There's just too many mons. This is why I usually avoid doing overviews for these, like for DLC 1 and Home when that happened. But Blaziken got banned. Blissey is a nice welcome addition back to Underuse. It's been UU for like a fair bit. And we also, so Blissey, you know, nice to have back. Ceruledge has been banned multiple times before, or actually not multiple times. Actually, no, it has been multiple times. Yeah, because it got banned for like roughly 1 week, and then DLC 1 came out, and then it got freed, and then it got banned again anyways. So yeah, take that however you will. Cinccino, that thing got tidy up, and Cinccino has like tail slap, so it can actually use Technician now. It doesn't have to use Skill Link, so it can actually hit reasonably hard-ish, kinda. Comfy has like Triage, which is like gives priority on healing moves. I guess Terra might be able to do something, but I feel like not a lot of people are using it right now, so that'll probably drop. Maybe it'll find its way back into UU down the line, who knows. Deoxys Defense, very annoying Mon, very bulky, very good spike setter, but it did lose a couple of moves. I don't know if Deoxys Defense in UU is not an unfamiliar sight. It was actually in UU back in Black and White when it was CG, so that's a fun tidbit. For Alligator, DDR, you know, has sheer force, very powerful, hits very hard, but its speed tier is middling. I don't see this thing being in UU for that long. It'll probably wind up in RU, next month, so I wouldn't be surprised. Galvantula, another web setter. Although it's kind of overshadowed by Araquanid and Rimbombi right now. I think the main thing of Araquanid is the fact that it can 1v1 treads very nicely. Or at least kinda, but right, and then Garchomp, Greninja, these are mons who have actually been UU before. Garchomp was banned before. Greninja, Balmon, I think it was in UU during home meta, but before DLC 1, and then it rose up to OU, and then we never saw it again until now. Balmon was like arguably ban-worthy back in home meta game, but now I don't know. It could be banned down the line, but we'll see. Hydrapple, that's the new like Applin evolution, I think. Yeah, so that's the new. It has like regen. It also has Fickle Beam, which is 80 base power, but has like a random 30% chance to. It might be 20%. I'll have to double check on that later. But yeah, it might have like a random chance to like double its base power, so it could just be a random chance to be a 160 power move. Like 80 base power isn't like terrible by any means, but like having a 20% chance to just like hits ridiculously hard is hilarious. Incineroar, yeah, doubles Titan Incineroar. It'll probably, nobody's really using it in UU right now, like based on like the games I've seen and like the little bits of that I've played on ladder, so nobody's really using that. Iron Moth, very, very powerful mon. You know, it's got, it doesn't have natural boosting moves besides like agility. So there's that to keep in mind. Keldeo, Keldeo is a fun addition to have. It has like, I think if you're running like a spec set with like, Hydro Pump, Secret Sword, Air Slash, and then you could run like, I don't know, Vacuum Wave or whatever, then like it's pretty much set. Like it has everything it wants. You guys will run like Calm Mind with like Vacuum Wave too. Yeah, that's a new, yeah, Vacuum Wave we have like a lot more Vacuum Wave distribution this generation. Iron Valiant's a notable one. Gardevoir also got it a while back, but yeah, like, so that's a move that's not exactly uncommon now. Kingdra, people thought this thing was gonna drop straight to RU, but it didn't. It's in UU right now. I have not seen anybody really use it right now, but I'm not sure if it, I think it will drop down personally. Like there's just too many things, too many hot stuff. Latios already banned. Latios is somehow reasonably honest. One thing to know, their Latias and Latios' signature moves, Mist Ball and Luster Purge respectively, got buffed up to like base 95 power, I think. And Luster Purge has like a random 50% chance to just drop your the opponent's special defense in like by like, I think it's either 1 or 2 stages, but like I think it's like by 2 stages, so kind of like Seed Flare in that regard, except far less base power. Mist Ball is like the inverse. Instead of special defense, it's special attack. But Latias was more known for like its demonic stored power sets, where it could just go to work after a couple of boosts and just like completely destroy people with Terra. Terra Poison was like kind of a hot topic that was going on, so that got quick banned. Manaphy, yeah, I can't believe this thing's in the tier somehow, and somehow the consensus is that it's not nearly the most overwhelming thing in the tier. What's happening? I don't know anymore. Has power creep gone too far? I'm not really sure, probably. Megros got some new toys. I think it got Psychic Fangs as one of its moves, and then it also has knock. I don't know if it always had knockoff, but I think it got knockoff. It either got it back or it's a new move this gen. I'll have to double check, but yeah, so Megros got that Minior Shell Smasher. Could probably do some stuff with Terra. It also did get Meteor Beam, so you could do some cool stuff with that. Although it's probably like it has like too much competition as like a, you know, Shell Smash sweeper, so it'll probably drop down to RU. Whether it will be too much for that tier or not, I don't know. The Necrozma honestly had some niche uses in Generation 8 underuse, and it was like an okay mon, but like it was mostly RU. I get the feeling that it'll probably drop down to RU as well. Maybe it's a mon that makes noise like later on when the metagame settles down, but what do I know? Overpond Cornerstone. Yes, we've been waiting for this thing for a while. People, yeah, like accurate, reliable rock stab that doesn't trigger Rocky Helmet. As sturdy as its built-in ability, but the downside is that you can't really run an actual item with it, unlike regular Ogre-Pond, so that's just something worth noting. I think with SD you could like completely destroy a Moonkiss after a boost, which, like in the tier that is really lacking unaware mons that are viable. Yeah, this thing could completely shred stall, and it's still like okay enough against offense to not be total deadweight. And much like regular Ogre-Pond, it has like a lot of same moves kinda, so you could do some pretty cool stuff with it. Porygon Z, insert that meme of it could probably be an okay user of that Terra Stellar thing. Yeah, that new Terra gimmick that they added in DLC 2 called, where like you gain like I don't know, it's like a 1.2 times bonus to like all your non-stab moves or whatever, and Terra Blast goes from like base 80 to base 100. Some people think PZ could totally do some cool stuff with that, but nobody's really using UU right now, I think, so it'll probably drop down to RU. Reuniclus, cool mon, it'll probably be okay. I think right now the preferred ability is definitely Regenerator, although Magic Guard could be okay too, but that's mostly because of the fact that like recovery moves got nerfed down from 16 to 8 PP, so like having regen with like boots could do a lot for it, although Magic Guard probably still will have its occasional uses. I haven't really seen it in UU, so again this thing will probably do fine in RU. Rimbombi Websetter will probably stick around for a bit, as long as like all the brokens are here, because like Webs is just really stupid. Smeargo is also kind of dumb, but not too many people are using it. I know Ozma posted a team where they got to like top 50 on like the first day with like a population bomb, Shell Smash Smeargo or some crazy stuff like that, but that aside, not really sure. It'll probably drop down even further with like an occasional use in UU. Suicune, a mon I have not seen I've seen some Suicune. I know one of our council members has been kind of trying to make it work. I won't mention who it is, but you know who you are. They've been trying to make it work. But I think Suicune, personally, I think Suicune with Terra could be very terrifying, especially with like, if you're doing like Vinkun. Yeah, like Suicune with Terra, very, very, very interesting candidate, could be ridiculously stupid. Swampert, have not seen it. It's like okay, I guess. Like you have Flip Turn, you have some good utility moves on it. Everything got knock, and I think I'll have to double check if Swampert got knock or not, but and Tentacruel, nobody's really using it. I have not seen anybody try to use it. And I mean, it's a spinner, but insert that meme about Yu hogging all its spinners, but it'll probably drop down to RU, hopefully. Venusaur, Sunmon. I'm not even sure if it will drop down, but if it did, it could be interesting. But you know, it also has sleep powder and all that stupid stuff. Zapdos, welcome back to Yu. I don't think we've seen you here since Gen 5. Wow. I'm not sure what this says about Generation 9 as a whole, but yeah, that's it's a sight, alright, and it's surprisingly okay, but I guess that's because you have like a bunch of stuff like Greninja, which and like other stuff that just stick out like a sore thumb. Yeah, so that's like all the noble stuff that dropped down to from OU down to UU. I will try to highlight some other stuff from lower tiers that Cobalion's one that ended up, it might have a similar arc to what it did in Gen 8, where Cobalion was like an RU mod for a while, but it eventually rose to UU. Yeah, like Cobalion has like, you know, a lot of moves it can work with, some good utility moves. You know, so there's that. Raikou, same deal. I've seen people try to make Raikou work, but in Raikou, kind of same deal like it was in SS, where it could probably do some stuff. And then obviously you have a Terrakion, which is NUBL at the time I'm writing this. It will probably see some occasional use in UU, and you know, all that cool stuff. But as for stuff that rose up to UU, Hawlucha, Moltres, Galar, Poltergeist, rose from RUBL to UU. Arma, Donphan, Hippo, Mouse. Okay, Mousehold kind of makes sense. Tyranitar, Gallade, and Indeedee. Okay, yeah, some of these are just major coping, but Indeedee is mostly because of side terrain spam. There was like this one guy who played like a couple thousand games on ladder with like this one side spam team of like Donphan, Armor Rouge, Gallade being like a couple of those spawns, and yeah, so that somehow ended up rising. But that aside though, other stuff like UU staple. Okay, Conkeldurr should have dropped eventually, but I'm surprised it stayed up as long as it did. Barraskewda was also because like Rain's viability was slowly dipping, like as like the LC1 went on and less people were using it. Herculegion, as some people like to call it, dropped down to RU. Kind of the same deal, like yeah, people were just not using Herculegion nearly as much, especially in Aurora Veil tier, because like, oh yeah, Ninetales Alola was in the tier, and it was like kind of a rude drop and you know, all that stuff. Like yeah, some of these mons just dropped down because the metagame just got way too offensive and underused. Speaking of an offensive metagame and mons that were a little too much for it, I should probably highlight this. Okay, so yeah, so as I kind of alluded to earlier, Iron Hands, Latias, Blaziken, these were mons that all got banned. Like Clay was also put on the chopping block, but that narrowly avoided a ban. I think it had 6 votes, so it didn't quite meet the super majority for a ban. And there were a couple people who thought that, oh, maybe Light Clay ain't the problem, but you know, so there's that. But yeah, Light Clay was a bit controversial because of Aurora Veil's dominance. I've been like helping one of my teammates build teams for like this team tour that does have SV underuse as like a format, and like generally like almost every week I could tell you that we were just trying to think about, oh my god, how do we like get around Aurora Veil and like screens, all that dumb stuff, because like yeah, that playstyle as a whole is just really stupid to say the least. And there's definitely argument for it being quick ban, but I don't know. Maybe it will get suspected. I don't know for sure. I will note that the last time Underuse has held a formal suspect test was in like either April, it might have been like May of 2023, so it's been over, I want to say it's been over half a year since we've gotten a suspect test, and since DLC 2 should be the last like massive expansion that we should be getting, hopefully we'll see another suspect, maybe likely gets suspected, although there's like actual precedence for this, because I will note that RU had banned likely very early on in the generation, so it's been banned in almost every lower tier. As a result, UU is probably the only one that hasn't gotten to that point yet. Also, oh yeah, Ashlyn is actually Lily, who has been the tier leader for a while. Yeah, they recently changed their name. But that aside, yeah, if you want to see like the reasoning, I'll probably link it in the description. Yeah, as for the current state of the metagame, I think it's, yeah, like not getting Skeledirge back was kind of tough, because Skeledirge was probably what held a lot of, what helped like deal with a lot of threats, and I think in a metagame like yeah, like we were hoping for stuff like Dondozo. Actually, in fact, I'm gonna go back to the usage page real quick. Okay, so we are back here. I'm gonna look at the OU stats actually. Yeah, so let's just take a look at stuff that could potentially come down. Dondozo, Dirge, Corviknight's they've been kind of barely hanging on. Iron Crown is one that I expect to fully drop off. I have not seen it in any like real high level, I guess, tournament games in OU, and people were probably using it because new toy syndrome. Excadrill is one I expect to drop down eventually. For reference, the drop off percentage is like 4.52, so PAX could come down next month. Heatran, Ogerpon, Wellspring are stuff we could also see coming down. Like, so these that temporary. Actually, I don't think Pelipper's leaving OU anytime soon, because like Rain is like very viable right now. Primarina could come down to Dondozo. Like, yeah, some of these would be really great to actually have in the tier, like just to help stabilize a little more. What else? Other stuff that I would probably, yeah, like people have been kind of discussing OT dropping down, but like at this point I'm not sure if that will happen. We'll have to see. But yeah, Excadrill could be really cool because we'd have another spinner. It'd be more like a side grade to you know, Iron Treads as like a spinner. They're both steel ground, but like Excadrill has more offensive firepower but like less speed, whereas like Treads is like more faster utility, that kind of thing. Yeah, they'd be very healthy. Primarina, same deal. Yeah, and then Heatran could also come back. That'd be cool too to have. Yeah, like some unaware mons could potentially drop down, but I don't know. But like, you know, people are probably still using Stall in OU potentially just to like try and stave off some of these crazy threats that we got, like Iron Boulder, Roaring Moon, Raging Bolt. Like, I don't like, OU's in a pretty weird state right now. I mean, they're even discussing banning sleep or reworking the sleep clause, I guess. So there's that, but enough rambling from me. It's been fun. Yeah, so with that being said, I will see you guys next time.